Jodie Roberts. I'm a B&B owner and a dog owner. I love dogs, particularly rescue dogs, and I have a little rescue dog that's a Jackawawa. A Jackawawa is a Jack Russell and a Chihuahua crossed. The dog is 10 years old and her name is Tilly, and we changed her name when we got her, so it used to be Indy, now she's Tilly. We've had her about 5 years, possibly 4.5, can't quite remember exactly, but it seems like we've had her about 6 months. A lot of people, because she's small and she's got a very little face, think that she's actually a Yorkshire Terrier, but she's got much more of a Chihuahua's face. Personality is definitely Jack Russell. She's got that yappy sort of snappy personality that Jack Russells tend to have.
Is my mum? Is my mum? A scallywag, you are.
If we go out for dinner or we go out for drinks, Tilly has a real problem with the waiting staff. She tends to go a little bit mad, so she barks at them, bites them, or tries to savage them if they come near to the table. As soon as they disappear, she's absolutely right as rain. Yeah, she's really unique. There's no dog like Tilly. She's completely unique. She's got really strange ears. They seem rather large for the size of her head. And she uses them to express her emotions, so they do like a full 360 turn. So depending on how she's feeling, her ears will reflect her mood. She often looks like some sort of Jim Henson puppet. She's like got these sort of like stitched on ears and really expressive sort of tail as well. So her tail, depending on the angle of her tail, you know what she's feeling, whether she's happy or not. She's got really big sort of pupils to her eyes. They're so big that you can barely see the whites of her eyes. So I find that a little bit strange sometimes because they're really, really dark. Very rarely see the whites of her eyes. The other thing that's quite unusual is she's got a white patch on her chest and almost like a mane. So again, when she's angry and ready to fight other dogs, she puffs herself up like a sort of Tasmanian devil, so she looks really fierce because inside her head she definitely thinks she's a Rottweiler. She doesn't like sweeping brushes, so she'll often chase the sweeping brush and bite it, and she doesn't like hoovers, so again she'll bite the hoover and she'll ride around on it. She really dislikes those two things. We adopted Tilly from the RSPCA in Exeter, and they had a whole backstory on her. She was owned by a teenage girl, and she hadn't done much walking. And one day the teenage girl came home from work and wanted her gone, so she made her mother take her to the RSPCA kennels, and then Tilly spent 3 months in there. And when we first got her, she couldn't go for long walks, and she wanted to be carried the whole time because I think the teenage girl had carried her. Tilly unfortunately was fed on cat food, so she really likes fish. In fact, if we're cooking fish, she goes absolutely mad. It's one of her favourite things, but the vet said it's the wrong sort of protein for a dog, and that's what she was fed by her previous owners. I think Tilly has like a favourite, and I'm a primary owner, I would say, mainly because I do everything for Tilly, although Kev, my husband, would argue that he does most of it. She does tend to love me more. She did have a female owner before, and she will not leave my side. If I try and get away from her, it's really difficult because she tries to follow me everywhere I go, so I have to take her with me. And if I try and leave the house without her, it's just terrible. I hate going out without her. In fact, I don't go out without her if I can help it. I try and make sure I arrange things where she can come along, because otherwise she gets too upset. She hates me leaving her, and it's so sad to see her little face when I leave her. We enjoy going around Europe. Mainly we stick to Europe so that we can take Tilly with us. We actually bought a really expensive camper van, so we've spent a vast amount of money so that she could come on holiday with us. We travel around Spain, the whole of Portugal, and the plan plan is to go even further afield. She loves travelling, she doesn't like the travelling, but she loves it when you get there, because we're meeting new people and new dogs every day. It means that she can really enjoy that outdoor lifestyle, and spends her whole time on beaches, digging holes, trying to bury balls. She's a very active dog, so she really enjoys her holidays around Europe. Tilly generally is a well-behaved dog. Occasionally she gets lost when she follows the wrong people's feet, because she's so small. She walks behind your feet, and once or twice she's actually followed the wrong pair of trainers and gone the wrong direction. And we'd only had her a couple of weeks when we lost her the first time. She followed someone when we were on a long walk, and we shouted and shouted, and she came running really scared, and we got her back. A rescue dog, I think, is the only sort of dogs people should have, because rescue dogs they're just left in kennels, and it's so cruel. Tilly had been in kennels for 3 months, and it had such a massive detrimental effect on her well-being that she was so scared that we were going to leave her because she'd been left. She seems to be very clingy, that she thinks that you're just going to leave her at any point. Also, she had to fight the other dogs for her food and toys, so she's become really possessive. So she doesn't let anyone go near her food, she guards it. And the same with her toys. And if she sees a toy in anyone's house or out and about when we're on walks, she takes it as her own, and we have a whole basket full of toys that Tilly's stolen and been allowed to bring home because various relatives and friends have let her keep them. But those are the outcomes of being in a rescue centre. And I think that although it would be lovely to have a puppy and be able to train it from scratch, I still think that there's so many dogs that need rehoming that are in rescue centres for far too long. I couldn't even face the thought of buying a puppy, even though you could actually turn that dog into the sort of well-trained dog that you'd really want. But I just think rescue dogs give you so much love and so much self-worth because you've done something really good, and that makes me feel really good.